Here at Dodson's Corner, we're one big video away from being the next big thing. So in honor of that, we're talking about UFC stars who are one win away from reaching their next level, you know? If this is becoming the face of the UFC, stars in their division, or the biggest up-and-comer.
Yeah. Yes.
Up-and-comers. The biggest up-and-comers, you know? These are fighters who are one win away from becoming a star, you know? And that could be different. That could be becoming a Diego Lopez, a Carlos Prates, you know? Those were the guys at 2024. Now we're looking at the guys at 2025.
Exactly. I have some all different range of picks. I have guys who are coming up. I have guys who one big away from becoming like a massive star.
Yeah, and we aren't saying that these guys are necessarily going to win their next fight, but it's if they win their next fight, this is where they're going to get.
Exactly. All right, I'll start us off. My first pick. This is wild. This might be wild to you. I have Sean O'Malley.
Ooh,
he is forgotten about right now. He is still, in my opinion, the second best bantamweight in the division right now. He put up a better fight against Merab. Maybe.
What the?
Arguably won the Merab fight.
Sound like Guru.
Yeah. Arguably won that Merab fight. Shout out Guru. No, I still think he's the best fight. He's proven himself way more than any other person other than Jan. I would say other than Jan, but he beat Jan, so I have to put him above him. I think he's underrated right now. So in his next fight, if he can get a win against either Merab or Peter Yan, I think he's right back in the UFC's top 5 or 6 biggest names.
Yeah.
You know, it's just because he took that loss and then he had that labrum surgery that he's being forgotten about. And I think it's unfair because he proved himself time and time again coming up in the rankings. You know, we've seen all these prospects get fraud checked, got their O's taken away, but Sean O'Malley is a genuinely good fighter.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I think that, you know, the UFC wants it so badly. You know, they want him to be back to being one of the faces. You know, he was one of the faces of the UFC while he was champion.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the fact that he's been gone for so long now.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Flyweight. All right, I have it in divisions, but like it's not like it actually matters. Tatsuro Taira. You know, this is a guy he's right there. You know, he's bound to be a future champion one day, and I think that the UFC really wants to push that Asian market.
Yeah.
So, you know, wins his next fight is going to get him to a new level. I think with every win, he's also going to get to a new level of stardom, you know. But I think that another win helps make him a household name because there's other guys inside of flyweight who are bigger names than him, you know, Moreno and Royval. You might even say that Ersig's a bigger name than Taira.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Maybe even Kai Kara France. But like one more win for him, no matter who it's against, you know, his next win gets him into that next level.
Yeah.
You know, of those top guys. You know?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. That's a good pick. My next pick, I got JDM. It's a classic. Obviously, he's matched up.
I have JDM too.
Yeah, if he wins the Leon fight, he is going to be put into a new level. It's similar to, I'm trying to think of another one, but it's just the classic, like the new generation coming up, right? JDM, the young, hungry guy.
Well, you can think about it as when Dricus beat Whitaker.
Yeah.
You know, and then he's fighting for the title next fight.
Yeah, that's a good example. I just think that JDM is definitely hyped right now. Some people think he's overhyped, but I think he's properly hyped. And if he beats Leon, he's right in that title contention for the winner of Shavkat Bilal.
Well, he's the number 1 ranked guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's fighting Leon Edwards, former champion, you know.
Yeah. This is like Nasruddin Imavov versus Adesanya.
Yeah. You know, like he goes and I think he's bigger than Imavov. Imavov has no hype. Bro's got no aura.
No.
But, you know, JDM, you know, I think too with the reason that he's probably being held back a little bit is I think that a lot of fans have concerns over some of the things in his game plan, you know, in his fighting style. But a win over a guy like Leon Edwards that erases those things, and it's just like, oh yeah, this guy's legit. This is former champion.
Yeah.
And we're right back on track for the quadrilogy between him and Shav. So
exactly. That's what we're all waiting for.
But yeah, a guy like JDM is like he actually has a lot of hype for like not doing a ton, like not having a ton of fights. Like he's got that hype behind him. It's probably because he's so exciting. Yeah. You know, so the fans are obviously going to root for him. But like, yeah, he's one win away from being legit.
And I think Australia has such a big fan base.
Yeah.
They're going to push their guys. No, he's Australian.
Like the same thing.
Yeah.
Except for the people that are from New Zealand.
Oh, they hate it. They absolutely hate it.
Are they called lollipops? Is that what you call people in New Zealand?
Lollipops?
Lollipops.
Are you going to lick them?
I don't know.
No, I don't think they're called lollipops.
We'll ask a friend.
Yeah. Next fighter, Fares Ziam. The big French boy. One more win.
No, because he wants to fight outside of the rank.
No. He doesn't have a choice. He doesn't have a choice. You're fighting inside the rankings, my friend. You're fighting Benoit Saint Denis for the French flag. Okay, winner gets the French flag. I genuinely think he is going to be a decently big name. He's improved so much from his earlier fights. He looks like a completely different fighter now. The determination, the grit, where he didn't tap to that calf slicer was absolutely insane. And he beat a good fighter. Like he's genuinely beating good fighters now, and he has highlights. I think it's just an easy fight for the UFC to put on either a big fight night or opening up a pay-per-view now. Like he is guaranteed to put on a banger fight if you give him a good matchup. Yeah. So I think he's one win away from being that next hyped up prospect because he does not get talked about at all.
I got another flyweight pick, Manel Kape. This guy is one win away from being like especially like if he goes and knocks out Asa Amabayev like real quick, it's like, oh, this guy's a killer.
Yeah, I had Manel Kape on my list as well for the same reason.
Because I don't know, like it just gives off. This is gonna sound really bad, but like a dominant African like force inside of the UFC. You know, like
they got a bit of aura to them.
Yeah, like a little mini Francis Ngannou, half the size of Francis Ngannou. But you don't have half the power. Oh, maybe he does. Francis is so.
No, I like that. I think Manel Kape, if he strings together a couple wins, he's back in the ultra hyped UFC community.
Like he's a roller coaster. You know, you're up and then you're down and then we're up here.
Yeah.
Are we going back up or are we going down?
Yeah, and I guess he only did lose to Mokaev, right?
Yeah, who was like an elite grappler
and who could probably become a champion if he came back to the UFC.
It's just the way that fight played out.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Manel Kape, great pick. I'll go again then, I guess. I got Alexandre Topuria.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I think he could get a ranked opponent next if the UFC is desperate.
I saw something to give him Peyton Talbot.
No, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
He beat Talbot, I think.
Dude, of course he'd beat Talbot. He can wrestle.
Yeah.
Peyton Talbot can't wrestle, dude. Yes, he would beat Peyton Talbot. Give him Chewiwi. No, I think they're going to give him... Who's like a name in the bantamweight division, but not quite ranked yet? Oh, Garbrandt?
No, we're not doing that.
Garbrandt is Garbrandt close to being ranked anymore?
He's like
I don't
16.
think so. I don't think so.
He's literally edging on those rankings.
He's not 16. He's been 16 for 3 years.
He is edging so hard on those rankings.
I mean, you could give him Garbrandt if you want a name value. I just think that he's so much aura farming off of his brother. He doesn't even need to do anything for himself, you know? He doesn't need to get a single finish in the UFC, and everyone would still watch his fights.
But here's the thing is that his last fight, he looked so good.
Yeah, he looked good.
I still think about that German suplex.
Oh, yeah, that was fire.
It was gross.
Yeah, that was fire.
I like that pick.
Yeah.
I think your picks, I went a little safer than you. But my next guy, I'm gonna combine these guys.
Well, I'm doing all my good ones first. I have some boring picks in there.
Like a guy like Movsar Evloev. He doesn't have that hype behind him quite yet, even though for being an undefeated like top 5 ranked guy.
Yeah.
No hype. But like realistically, if his next fight is against another guy, like I think in a dream world, your next fight is Evloev versus Lopez. Winner of that fight gets projected into like stardom, you know, and I think that Lopez he's a star, you know, and that's from him making himself a star, but like next level of stardom if he could beat an Evloev. But if Evloev goes and beats Lopez, like that projects him into that next level. So those are 2 guys I had on my list. Yeah,
that's fair. All right, you ready for a boring pick?
Yeah.
Dricus du Plessis.
Okay.
If he wins his next fight against Hamzat, he like I said in an earlier video, he only has 700,000 followers on Instagram. This dude he does not have a big fan base, which is still wild to me. I followed Dricus. I followed you, bro. I got you with that.
I'm trying to think about where I would rank Dricus inside of the UFC if he beat Hamzat.
Like in pound for pound?
3. Like I think not pound for pound, like best fighters in the UFC, because I think that right now Pereira is should be higher pound for pound than Ilya, but I think that Ilya is a better fighter than Pereira.
Right.
But like 3rd best fighter in the UFC beats Hamzat, because I think Hamzat's the best.
Like well-roundedness.
I think that looking at like
you beat Adesanya Strickland for striking, and then Hamzat wrestling.
Like if you told me right now who is the most dominant fighter in the UFC, I'd say Hamzat Chimaev.
Yeah.
Who's the best? I might say Hamzat Chimaev. He's top 3 with Ilya and Islam. So if he can do that,
yeah, that's a Big win for his legacy.
What would how about the amount of excuse of his Hamzat lost to Drake? Oh, he probably was sick.
Yeah.
He struggled with his cut. So he just struggled
There'd be so much cope.
Just struggled with half of UFC, like what it's like to be a UFC fight.
Yeah.
He's not good at cutting.
Yeah, you think, dude, look at Drickus. You think that guy doesn't struggle with a cut? Yeah. He weighs 230 pounds probably in the offseason. So, yeah, I just think Drickus still doesn't get the respect he deserves. I'm a big Drickus advocator for how underrated he is still, even after another dominant performance over Strickland. If he gets another win, especially because his next matchup is guaranteed to be Hamzat Chimaev. If he wins that fight, he's probably going to be on another level.
Yeah. Oh, he's higher all time than is Adesanya and GOAT.
Yeah. Is that crazy to say? Let us know in the comments.
It's not. It's not.
It's not crazy?
Crazy to say.
Why are you like leaning towards
I'm imagining getting for Duplessis versus Chimaev a UAE flag. You think you get one of those?
Yeah.
Or we could just put a crypto.com flag back there. That might be better.
Yeah, that's fair. Represents Hamzat more.
And then just like an actual Africa flag. The real shit. Like an Ethiopian flag.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. I like that.
My next guy. This is one where he's another guy who is like so high in the rankings, no hype, no stardom. Arman Sarukian.
Yeah.
Dude's got no aura.
No.
He could play it up. He's like some rich guy, #1 ranked lightweight, no aura.
I think it's because he has like a little bit of a baby face, you know? He has soft brown eyes, looks like Bambi. Yeah.
Like I just don't get it.
I don't know why I said that.
But like Arman could realistically go out and beat Dubrovsky in a 5-round fight. You'd hope that would put him into the next level, but it's also like I was like, can it? Can this guy reach a new level? Like this guy was gonna fight Islam Makhachev.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but now he's back of the line.
Yeah,
he's got to win 4 fights before he gets another title
Mike Chandler.
Shot. Yeah, exact. Oh my goodness! Don't get me started on that matchup. How many more do you have left?
I got a few. How many more do you got?
Not very many.
All right. Well,
my next fighter though. Tell me this isn't true. Tell me that Dan Hooker is not going to have a resurgence if he beats Gaethje. If he beats Gaethje, he could literally be the #1 contender in that division, which is stupid because he just gets. Well, no, I guess he's already lost to Islam. So if Justin Gaethje gets a win over Dan Hooker, Gaethje is for sure a #1 contender again, which is dumb. If Dan Hooker wins, he probably needs one more fight because he's already lost to Islam. But even still, I think that people might think this is a dumb pick because the peak of his career is already passed and whatever. But I think if he gets a win over Gaethje, that's 2 wins over top 5 opponents in lightweight. Like that's the top of his game, honestly.
2? Was Gamrot 5?
Yeah, Gamrot was 5.
Oh wow.
And Gaethje's probably 2 still?
I think Gaethje's 3.
2 or 3? Yeah. So it's a great win, and I think it's a possible win. Like I think that's actually a very realistic pick, and I think that Gaethje has a ton of fans. Everyone watches a Gaethje fight. Every American watches a Gaethje fight. And if Dan Hooker does it, he already has the Australian fan base, gets a win over the Gaethje fan base. If Gaethje has fans left, it's a good win.
I might skip some of these, but next guy we'll talk about Joel Alvarez.
Oh, that's a great pick.
Because he's back outside of those rankings, but I don't even think he's gonna fight one of those like 15th ranked guys. Like I think you full push this guy. You give him a Dariush at 10.
Yeah.
You give him one of those guys because it's either that or maybe you give him BSD.
Oh yeah, BSD is a good fight.
That's a good fight.
Yeah.
Like I think in terms of like quality of fight, like that could be a really good fight. But like Faziev even give him someone high, push this guy because I think he's ready for it. But one more fight and he's kind of, I would say, like he's in Carlos Prates range.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or maybe because I think he's probably still a step behind. But even 2 or 3 big fights this year, he could be Diego Lopez at that point too. Maybe
depends how active.
Because I would say he kind of had his Carlos Prates year last year. And this is his Diego Lopez year now.
That's a fair comparison.
Up into that top 5 because gets hot, starts beating these guys on the way out. Could pick by the end of 2025, he could have a big win on his resume. If you beat a Chandler, a Poirier, a Gaethje, one of those guys on their way out, that's huge for your career.
I'm just worried. He's been talking about moving up to welterweight, and I'm just worried that if he moves up to welterweight, he's not going to be the same.
Not another fighter in welterweight. Stay in lightweight. There's no one there. There's no one in that division.
It's so much easier in lightweight, but he is like 6'3".
Climb the rankings in lightweight, and then you can jump up to welterweight because you're not going to beat Islam.
True.
But maybe you just pull Patty. I genuinely think Patty is just holding off until everyone's gone in lightweight. Even Islam's gone. He just be promoted right to champion because everyone else is either going to retire or move up.
He's already like number 11 or something.
Yeah,
or number.
he just keep moving up once a month. He move up a spot.
Yeah. That's the Marvin Vittori route to the championship. Okay, I like that pick. That's a great pick. For my last pick, the glaze don't stop. This guy is gonna get. Oh, who's a fighter that gets glazed? This guy's getting Diego Lopez level of glaze. He might even be the most glazed fighter in the UFC right now. But I genuinely think if he gets another highlight finish, you could give him a top 2 ranked fighter. It's Carlos Prates.
I had Carlos Prates on my list.
It's like every fight he is propelled into a new level.
Mm-hmm.
You get Neil Magny was his last win, and that's not even a good come on, it's Neil Magny, and he's being talked about as the guy at welterweight when there's 10 other guys at welterweight that could be the next up and comer. He is different. He is genuinely different, and if he gets a win over a genuinely well recognized, respected opponent, I think he's top. He gets a top 5 opponent for sure.
Yeah, I think that his next fight is in that top. They're going to push him.
They were talking about Shavkat Prates. Are you crazy? That's insane.
That's how high they are, but I think he's good enough for that.
Yeah. Shavkat might have been a bit too much. I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah,
destroy him.
I think he loses that fight.
Yeah.
Just from inexperience, but
Yeah, but he has all the power to put him out.
100%.
That's the scary thing. Yeah.
All right, moving on. My next fighter, my last fighter. I don't know how many people really saw it, but UFC 312, we saw a 6'7" heavyweight giant, maybe even 6'9".
Oh, yeah.
Taliesin Teixeira.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's one win away from being in the rankings.
Boom.
And they're just going to move him up. They're just going to be like, this is New Ngannou.
Yeah.
And just keep on pushing him up the rankings.
Mm-hmm.
Because
New Ngannou. Brazilian Ngannou.
Yeah, he's just going to keep pushing him up because this guy is, I don't know. He's also, as much as could be a good fighter, he's a spectacle. He's a spectacle, this giant heavyweight.
Yeah.
And it's going to be he's going to go through everyone, and then eventually he'll be up that point. He's that final boss, the villain. Can Tom Aspinall beat it's David versus Goliath, and then Tom Aspinall will beat him.
KOs him in 1 minute.
Yeah.
Tell me why he's not ranked after beating Justin Taffa, but Don'Tale Mayes is ranked at heavyweight. It makes no sense. The heavyweight rankings are stupid.
They're terrible.
So bad. I've seen 10 from the time that I've been following the rankings closely. I've seen 10 new heavyweights get ranked and unranked for no reason.
Yeah,
without fighting.
Well, it's just whoever's maybe they just have a different guy running them, and the guy who's running the heavyweight he just got ADHD.
Yeah,
he's just I don't like this. Let's switch these today.
Yeah,
boop, 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 boop.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But my last fighter is also a heavyweight. It's Mick Parkin.
Oh,
If he wins against Marcin Tybura,
that's a big win.
It's a big win for him. He's top 8 in the heavyweight division. He gets a top 4 opponent or top 5 opponent. I guarantee you, because you have exciting fresh matchups up there.
Yeah,
it's so stale in the top 5.
How's Mick's wrestling? Is he good enough of a wrestler to keep it with Curtis Blades?
Yeah, that's a tough fight for him.
Because then it's either Blades or Pavlovich is the tough part.
Yeah.
Or you could even go to there's no real point if he's at 8 to give him Spivak at 7.
Exactly.
So it's either Pavlovich, Volkov, or Blades, and I don't know if
And also, I'm convinced Marcin Tybura and Sergey Spivak are the same person. I think their fight was CGI. Call me crazy, but I think they're the same person.
Mirror. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us today. Make sure you guys go down to the comments. Let us know who are some fighters that you guys think are 1 or 2 wins away from becoming stars inside of the UFC. While you're down there, make sure you guys are liking and subscribing. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
See ya.